Okay, so in your reality, when you're out by yourself, being yourself, around your friends when you can be yourself, as soon as you're around somebody you don't know, whether they will judge you upon looking to say if whether that's weird or not weird in their eyes, the energy, whether you know it or not, will affect you. So you can determine whether of what. But the only real fact of that is that if we can't feel comfortable with ourselves, even projecting who we are when that other energy is around, we have to literally build ourselves to higher degrees to handle that. So you can be fully who you are without the other influence taking away from who you are. The thing is, though, it's not necessarily going to be that way for every person you encounter, or you know what I mean? But you never know. Sometimes you just like sense it even prior, like right off the bat. That's because their thought process is getting more and more into depth upon how far of a thought that they take it to. You know what I mean? Or how far of a thought that we take it to after we get the energetic response from it. So it plays both ways. But ultimately, when you're, say, an hour or two in nature or whatever, just away from people, you know what I mean? That freeness of just expressing or just letting loose, or just kind of like that, or to be tense, like say if you're in a crowd of people or something, sometimes you just tense up for no reason, or other things like that. It's just because you're not comfortable with the fact of other people's thoughts and opinions. But nature doesn't judge or anything like that. That's why we have peace in that sort of degree of itself. A lot of people are happy this time of year, and I can sense it through what's going on. They should be, because the energetic levels on the planet. And but people that just have the judgment in their head so much, just say, and then even if you were whatever person, just say he had a bad day, whoever it is, and just send it that energy. Now, even if you never even made eye contact, sometimes some people drive by, I'm fine, just happy, and sometimes I just get this weird feeling. When their energy is coming like that, or whatever that is, I can definitely detect it. And the thing is that around good energies and that lightness, it just brings up who we are. So every time that people get really hyped up, and sometimes we want to show off or whatever, not even that, unless they're not in an egotistical way, that is not egotistical. There's a fine line for expression, enjoyment through the body, through all the senses to be immersed in. So when you get to, say, a party and you feel way more energetic than you usually are alone, you are corresponding with your natural energy function. And when you act a little bit more on top, everybody else is. It's as long as them little aspects get felt by more people, then the whole group is just doing that all of a sudden. But you realize, then they're choosing that option that they're getting affected by. Say one person's talking in the group for most of the day, that the people's consciousness will be in that one person in that group most of the day, because they're giving the attention to that. And the thing is that many different sides can be accepted while you roll on through the day, and that's why what makes a good day and not so good of a day, whether if they get bored with whatever is being presumed, or many other things. But that's in the mind and interpretation of our thought. But if we always say it's good, it's good, it's good, we'll co-create that good, because there would be no doubt of a bad within that. But I'm just saying the thought structure in itself, though, if it has really good intention, like the meditative masters and all that, they can set their intention really strong and firm, and that's how they can get people to understand things, get things, but on an energetic level. But if I can't get to you energetically, you cannot physically feel me 100%, because this is a real world of energetics. Like, say, coming if a girl comes 4 feet from me, or whoever it is, I can feel their energy. And the thing is that So energetic through the voice, you can get energy through the voice. Many other things, through, yeah, sound, everything else. They're all characteristics. Like our bodies too hold that. But the sound is like a really flexible one, actually. Because sound can be emanated from a large distance, but the feeling is just in the body, but the feeling can be amplified to your surroundings and vice versa. But it's not like we know how to do that on all these levels. But the sight and all that is mixed and tangled with the real reality. So without the sight being the sight, we couldn't see to begin with, but that aspect on top of itself through the sight makes it so we can get back of what we see. And it's all supernatural in a sort of sense, but the senses which mankind goes through now, it's just, the process might seem slow, but it's actually more of a changing cycle than you think. But so all these senses, when they get on different levels, you have different experiences with these senses. And in each aspect, when you go into these senses, they will they'll remind you of things that you knew in your childhood and all this other stuff, but it goes into depth upon more understanding upon that. So the things that you felt good out of, not even knowing that when you take that sight, you're actually getting something back, and the thoughts that you create from the sight and all the characteristics co-create your joy in the day. And it's all intertangled, and unless you notice it or not, it doesn't even matter, it's still there. But on the greater degrees of your life that you noticed it was happening, then you can later see that this is what I did, not knowing upon it, then doing it. But sometimes that knowing upon it ruins the doing upon it. Unless you have free will to be yourself, to not have any blockages in your systems to be that way. Or if you get caught up into thought about this or that being this way, that's what really hinders the whole aspect of what you wanted to experience. Because would you want to experience just the evaluation or the actual intake? See? It's either the evaluation or the intake of that experience. When you're evaluating, you're not fully into the intake. That's necessary to build greater intakes or things like that. That's why all life is meaningful in many ways, like I'm saying to you. So that's a little podcast for today. I wanted to basically let you know that. And we all know energetics when it comes to people and stuff like this, but we could even be in the purest state, fully capable, but as soon as something comes into that, it won't last long, right? Some people will come in and you'll feel different, and it almost blocks it for a period of time of like who you are in a little minute degree. But it depends on how much you're around it too, how much it affects you. See, whatever you live in, you are in. So like Earth, we live in Earth, we are in Earth, we're affected by what's in Earth. If we were living in a different dimension, we'd be that. If we were trying to interfere with Earth in a different dimension, we'd still correspond with the rules of Earth, though, in a certain way, even if you had higher powers in a different way. Because it's just like that when we go to the higher realms, we still limited by the rules that are accessed from here to there, because it's what it is. If we were fully residing there, there wouldn't be no limitation upon what gets brought back here. You know what I mean? Or when angels come here, it's the same thing, where if you're not, when you're fully into this, we're into this to be fully immersed in whatever we are. I mean, we do have outer body experiences, go many different places at night, as you all know, in different time, space realities. It's just that the experience is very well to be had of every human being to realize the purpose beyond the fact of, not just talking about, not just, like, say, posting things about it, but we literally co-create our reality. Everybody on Earth does. But the basic things of what is truth, it's all within a lot of things that we didn't think of it as. It's in the mind. It's in everything. It's in all of what we do. So anything that we can put out to be established. It might sound even silly at first, maybe to some of you, but the thing is that when you really create that, it's not so silly anymore. Like when somebody created like water tubing or something like that, it's like this fun kid thing, but that wasn't like a serious politician thing. So isn't that less of like this importance? But can't you see importance just lies in the eyes of whoever's really seeing the aspect of what's going into it? And every aspect of whatever it needs is a characteristic of what you were thinking about. But when you're not thinking about it in the way of that, so you're going out and looking at different points of view, there's a whole other side that hasn't been a point of view on Earth yet, right? Like, we've been suppressing this one from manifesting because there was so much unsurety in ourselves about something like that. And it was because of the co-creative unsurety of what was taking place, of why it wasn't going forth to be. And as soon as we get secure about it, all of a sudden we take power over that aspect that's been co-created that always fell short a little bit after Atlantis and all that other crap. Because that was then of what was experienced and had, but why was that wanting to be suppressed, another aspect be revealed, but that one wasn't even doing any justice, really. I mean, what we developed to use for people's needs, yeah, but at the same time it has such a backlash. Because we're only thinking about ourselves way too much, and if we're not doing that, that's why we have so much karma on us. Because if we affect other life is going to affect us. So all the things that we're dealing with, we are going to be talking about on this planet. We are going to be, you know what I mean, living in. So it's just like, what are we going to just drop and put first? For what we can see that's going to either happen in the future if we keep going abiding by these things that are just tearing it down, or just go about a whole different way of doing things and feeling joyous about it and expanded about it while doing it. And as soon as, say, a month goes by, 2 months go by, you have that full expansion of what you created that everybody can look at and not deny, because it's in existence now. Like, you know, like things that haven't been just talked about and done, like the car, like the people that invented the wheel, like, oh, you can never do that technology and all this other crap. But they kept on denying it, but the real facts of the possibilities of what could be. Like, I know all the things that could be, and there's a lot. So, not just trying to take it too out there into the business corporation, whatever. Just start fresh to have a new control. Because if they control over what you have, they put it in the corporate stuff, and it gets mixed and tangled with the sickness. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying that the whole thing of the run is running it at a selfish foundation anyway. Were they ever doing the right thing over generation upon generation? Were they screwing you over? Were they lying to you? Were they trying to pull your buttons and make things they say they're gonna do it, they do it, say, 2 years later, and even when they make that establishmentation, there's so much more to establish on top of that we don't even realize. We're just too fixed on that one aspect to try to make that happen. We can make all these aspects happen and get out of that little game, you know what I mean? I think that's like the biggest factor. Is because this world is sucked into, you know what I mean? If we took back the power, we would have all